So welcome back. This episode is going to be more comfortable and casual because we're talking about the Lord. And I'm going to be, first of all, let me just go ahead and start it off with, we're in my bed. That's why it's cozy and comfortable. I got my PJs on. It's a little pantsuit. I got my little sockies. But we're trying to be comfy, cozy. We're getting a little personal with the Lord, and this is going to be amazing. I'm super excited about this one. This video today is going to be some of the notes that I took while I was at church, and I'm really excited because some of these, there's a lot of notes that I took. The first one that I watched is actually called Why You Can't Give Up, and it was preached by Stephen Furtick. So overall, throughout this video, I'm going to kind of paraphrase what he said, and then I'm going to say my points of view and things that resonate with me to, tie it all together. Anyways, so the main thing that he was saying to me that I got out of this was feelings, they come. Feelings come. They come and they go. In John chapter 4, Jesus is the Messiah. So he used to go into things, or I used to go into things for how I would feel after it happened, not how I would feel during it. So when I used to look at like when I would be like, I want to go do this, it's because I saw how I would feel after I did it and like how I would feel in the moment. So like I'm looking for the feeling or the gratitude or whatever of after the fact instead of being present in the moment. And that's something that I'm working on. And I know for a fact that I have been present in the moment. When I'm with my family, I'm very present. I'm very in the moment. I never get on my phone, which your phone, that is a distraction. I never get on my phone when I'm with my family, when I'm with my friends, when I'm doing things with the people that I love and that I care about. I do not. I stay present and in the moment. But there have been times where I've been on my phone. There have been times when I haven't fully been present. There's definitely times that I can work on it and I can get better at it. And so how do I want to feel when this day is finished? That's how I want to start every morning. I want to ask the Lord, Lord, please give me patience. Lord, please give me grace today. And so I want to try and work towards that with my actions throughout the day. And so I think that's really good for all of us. I think we should all wake up and wonder, how do we want to feel when the day is finished? And then every action that you take, everything that you choose to do, every person you choose to interact with, everything you choose to say and do should align with how you want to feel. Yeah, I think it's really good for us to do that. And I'm going to start doing that I'm going to try to work towards getting to a better place throughout my actions throughout the day. I can't wake up every morning. Like if I just wake up and I let the feelings come, then they're just going to come before my day really started. If I don't wake up and talk to the Lord and I just, go throughout my day or whatever, someone or something is going to cause me to feel a certain way, and that's not how I wanted my day to go. If I don't want to have a negative day, I should not surround myself with negative things, and I should work hard every day. My actions and everything should align with me ending up happy at the end of the day, ending up patient or gaining more patience at the end of the day. So I think that you can't just wake up and let your feelings come, because they're going to come before your day has really started. And now your day is going based off of these feelings. So feelings come, yes, but they don't come first. And that's one thing that I'm learning is I'm so I allowed myself to get used to my feelings ran me. They ran my days. And I'm getting better at that. And I think a year or two ago, I was really bad with letting my feelings control me. And I'm just trying to get better at knowing that I do have feelings, but my feelings don't come first. And that's one thing that Stephen was helping me understand when I was watching this. And the feeling of being tempted is not a sin. It's when the temptation takes the throne in your life and it leads you to a place of sin, a place that you never wanted to be, with people you did not need to be around because you left the path the Lord made for you. So I'm going to say this again. Feeling of being tempted is not a sin. It's when the temptation takes the throne in your life. That's when it's a sin. So the feeling of being tempted, that's not a sin, but actually allowing yourself to do the sin, putting yourself in the position to get close enough to the sin, you've already sinned at that point. The feelings of sadness do not negate the joys of the Lord. It's when I allow the feelings of sadness to become the primary source of which my life is grown. So when I go through a heartbreak, I literally feel everything. And at the beginning, I did let it control certain things, but I was still trying to comprehend everything. And that's not an excuse. There's no excuse. But I'm saying I'm trying to comprehend everything. And that's one thing that I'm learning through this uncomfortability I'm going through. And it's going to make me better. It's going to make me stronger when I get to the other side. When I get over this wall. That ties to something we're going to go through. That's foreshadowing right there. But I'm saying is you can't let your feelings of sadness, of anger, of hurt, you can't let them be the primary source of your day-to-day life. The Lord is always there. He will always help you, no matter what. So whether you're suffering with what you do have or what you don't have, the pressure is real for everyone. So no matter what you're suffering through, your suffering, your pain is not any greater than the other person sitting next to you. We all are suffering. We're all going through things, but your pain is not any greater than anyone else's. Because what makes you super sad, what breaks your heart, what makes you angry, your pain might seem like everything to you. But the person sitting next to you, their pain also feels like everything to them. So trying to compare pain, trying to compare wounds and stuff, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to sit there and watch someone in pain and then be like, comforting them and then be like, well, I mean, you shouldn't really be upset, I'm going through this. We're here for each other. I'm not going to tear you down when you're already pretty low, it seems, because you're very sad, you're going through something. I am not going to be the person to do that to someone else because I know exactly how it feels. Your pain is your pain. My pain is my pain. There is no difference in the amount of pain that either one feels, no matter what we're going through. It might feel like your world is ending and you think that is the end all be all, but that's you. I'm also going through something and I might feel as if my world is ending. So let's not compare it. And just because it doesn't seem so big to you or it doesn't compare to what you're struggling with, pain, it's still pain. Sadness, still sadness. Grief, it's still grief. No matter the form. So let's learn to always be gracious. Let's learn to always be kind. Let's learn to be God-fearing and be more like God. Be more like the Lord to others. When you see them struggling, because in those moments, I promise you, grace and compassion, they will feel God's presence a little more. If you give someone grace and compassion when you see they're struggling, I promise you, they will feel the Lord's grace. They will feel his presence. They will feel his compassion in that moment. And it will help them. I promise you it will help them. Don't take it and make fun of their pain because you don't understand it. Don't tear them down because you're not understanding what they're going through, or you think what they're going through is a joke. Someone's pain is still pain. Think of the worst thing that you've ever gone through, you've ever felt. And when you see someone suffering, think of that. Think of how you felt in that moment and give them the grace and the compassion you wish that you got. Because too many times I've seen it and I've felt it firsthand. I've witnessed it. People think that certain things are a joke. People think that your feelings are a joke. Feelings are not a joke. Pain, suffering, grief, sadness, anger, loss, not a joke. And just because it's not how you would react to it, we're not all the same. We're not. Be kind and be gracious to someone when they're going through something, even if you don't understand it, even if you think it's a joke. You want to know why? Because the Lord would. God would. And what are we? We're children of God. I'm a child of God. I want to become a woman of God. And I want to learn to be more gracious and more kind to people, even if I don't understand what they're going through, because I know exactly how it feels. So that was one thing that I really took away from this, because I related to it. And I think it's kind of sad that in order to fully understand it, you have to go through it. But I also think it's beautiful because it teaches you a lot of lessons and you learn amazing things. And like I've said before, the uncomfortability. The worst place to be, but the best place to grow. And I really think it's beautiful. I really do. Okay, so let's look at John chapter 4, verse 39. I'm going to pull out my Bible. He mentioned John chapter 4, verse 39. So I'm going to read it out loud real quick. And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for saying of the woman, which testified, he told me all that ever I did. So to sum it up, John chapter 4, verse 39, Samaria, it's a very hostile place towards Jews. There's a woman who lives there. She lived a hard life. She had been through 5 men. I believe she's now on her 6th. And the situation that she's in, there is a lot of presence for purity, purpose, and potential. And all of this is in a place that they did not want to be, which is Samaria. And Samaria is racially tense. So the things God teaches the deepest are the places we did not choose to be. So it's time back to the uncomfortability. I'm sorry to keep bringing it up, but this chapter, this verse is very good when it comes to this topic, because Samaria was a very racial place towards Jews. And there's this woman here, and she's known to be promiscuous. She lived a hard life. She's been through things with 5 men. She's now on her 6th. But this 6th man, he has hope of presence, of purity, of purpose, of potential. And if we look at verse 27, it says, and upon this came his disciples and marveled that he talked with the woman. Yet no man said, what seekest thou? Or why thou talkest thou with her? The Lord is trying to go from point A to point B. And instead of going through it, the Jews want to go around Samaria. The Lord is like, no, we're going to go through. So everyone is shocked that the Lord is now talking to this promiscuous woman who's been through it. And they're like, why is she talking to him? She shouldn't be talking to him. And we ask for these things, and the Lord makes us work for it. So he's trying to test our patience. And I'm going to tie all of this together. It's going to make sense, I promise. So if you ask for patience, the Lord is going to test your patience. He's going to put you in a waiting season. If you ask for happiness, He's going to give you sadness. He's going to give you grief. He's going to give you pain so that you can see all of the worst things. And then just, if you ask for love, He's going to give you heartbreak. If you want to get over a fear, He's going to put you in your fear. He's going to put you in a scary situation. And God is most strategic when you're most surprised. And this allows things to come in and feelings to come in that we did not expect. Now we're going to look at Galatians 6:9. So I'm going to read it out loud. It says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due seasons we shall reap if we faint not." When your feelings come first, you give up while it's growing. So don't think about what you're sowing in this moment and lose sight of the harvest that's waiting for you. So if you're so focused about right now, if you're so focused about the momentary pleasures, the momentary feelings, the momentary satisfactions that you can get right now, later on, you're not going to be you're not going to get to where you want to be because you were so distracted in this time. And do not do everything that you feel. Don't do what you feel. And that's going to bring us to Galatians chapter 6, verse 8. "For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting." And so what I take away from this is think about the lasting thing. Think about the long-term thing, the eternal thing that you want to achieve, the eternal thing. Think of your future. If you sow into what you feel, your feelings now come first. And giving into your feelings, your temptations, I don't know why I did this. Giving into your feelings, your temptations, it's allowing you to now, you're doing it more often than not. Let me pick this up because I feel like my neck is breaking. Giving into your feelings, sorry, I wrote everything down as if I was going to say it. So giving into your feelings or your temptations and doing it more often than not, you're actually choosing every day. You're actively choosing every day to follow your feelings into sin. You're choosing to get further and further away from your path, further and further away from your long-term thing, further and further away from God. You're actively choosing to get further away from God. And that's one thing that more people need to understand is you don't like what you see, you like what you feel. You like how that makes you feel. So if you're tempted by lust, you don't like that woman for who she is. You like her because she has a bigger you know what and a bigger you know what. You like her because she made you feel a certain way. If you're a woman, you're struggling with lust, you like the guy because he has abs, his muscles. If you're tempted by alcohol, you like how when you drink that it makes you feel a certain way. If you're tempted by drugs, you like to take them because it makes you feel a certain way. If you're sowing negative things into a relationship, what are you going to reap later? In the moment, it's going to feel good. In the moment, you're going to feel so liberated. I don't even know if that's a good word for it, but that's the word I'm going to go with. You're just going to feel so good to say these things, these negative things. It's going to make you feel good to go off on this person right now. But you shouldn't do it because it's only going to temporarily make you feel good. And after your feelings have now gotten so small, you've forgotten or moved past something that could have been dealt with calmly and gracefully. Can it be fixed? Can this relationship that you just tore down be fixed? You need to be conscious. No, you need to be conscious of the consequences. You need to know you're saying negative things to the person that you're with. And you're breaking each other down. You're breaking down the bond. You're breaking down the trust. You're breaking it down. Something that was once so beautiful, so pure, is now been broken down because things have been said from one another that's negative. And now the relationship is thought of differently. The person is thought of and looked at differently. And we need to be conscious. We need to be conscious. Conscious? There you go. We need to be conscious that there are consequences to our actions. And that's one thing that I believe that I'm very good at this, but I know in the heat of the moment, I can let my feelings take over. But I do believe that in most of my day-to-day life, I'm very conscious, and I know that every action that I choose to take, it does have a consequence. And I know that in the back of my head, if, say, I'm dating someone, or let's just use that because it's easy. If I'm dating someone, I know that if I decide to do this, it might make them upset. I know if I decide to go here, it's going to cause tension. I know that if I go and hang out with this person, there's going to be something. If I go and do this, I know that if I do something, it could cause tension, friction, loss of trust, all this stuff. I also know that if I go and do this, this person will be super excited. I'm conscious, and I know the consequences of my actions. I know that my actions don't just affect me. They affect the ones closest to me. They affect the ones that I love, that love me. Your actions do not just affect you. And we need to be more conscious. We just need to be more conscious. I don't know how else to put it. And we need to get better at pattern recognition. I believe I'm kind of decent with this. A lot of people call me crazy for it or whatever. But I think it's a very good skill. You need to have pattern recognition. You might love what something brings to you. You might love what something does for you in the moment, but you don't like where it takes you. I'll use an example. I used to vape. I've actually quit, and I feel so much better. I feel like my skin is better. I feel like I can breathe better. I just feel better overall. But I'm going to use an example. I used to vape. When I vape, in the moment, it felt good. It felt good to hit the vape, and I just thought that this was the right choice for me. And in the moment, it made me feel good. But since I've quit, I've realized it took me to a darker place. I had worse skin. I had trouble sleeping. I sleep a lot better now. Like, it's easier for me to get a sleeping pattern. I feel like I just feel like my body is getting healthier. I feel like, I don't know what it is. I don't even know if this has anything to do with that, but I just feel like I'm getting skinnier, and I feel better overall. And vaping took me to such a dark place. So don't look for momentary satisfactions, momentary friends, momentary relationships, because one day you are going to look back and you're going to see that you wasted the most precious moments, the prime time of your life, on things and on people who saw you as momentary. People who are no longer with you now. People who had your back then, but had your back. They didn't really have your back. They were there because you were the popular kid. They were there because this is where you could get them. You knew this person. You had this connection. Sorry. They were there because you didn't like this person. They also didn't like this person. So now you're common enemies, And we all need to put more focus and energy into people and things that we see potential in. People that we see growth and we see love and we see happiness in. We need to look for more people who their actions their choices, their words, their lives align with where we are going. Because I am not going out here anymore, and I'm not hanging out with anyone who is on Snapchat, first of all. Like on Snapchat 24/7, has streaks, all this stuff. I'm not going and hanging out with someone who's married with kids, but they have friends who do stuff that is very sinful and disgusting. I'm not hanging out with someone who has a great life, but at work treats people horribly. I'm not going and hanging out with people who I've seen and witnessed make fun of other people because they don't understand what they're going through. I'm not hanging out with people who refuse to talk to someone who is going through something that they think is a joke, but refuses to talk to that person, but they can go and tell everyone else stuff about them. I'm not going and hanging out with someone who does drugs. I'm not going and hanging out with someone who wants to party all the time. I'm not going to be friends with someone who wants to just sleep around and all this stuff. I'm not hanging out with people who are not looking for full potential. I'm not hanging out with people who are not aligning with what I'm trying to get in my life. Because the people you surround yourself with, the things you surround yourself with, they are going to be distractions or they can be helpers. We're all here to help each other and support each other. But if I'm trying to get here and you're okay with staying here, I'm going to be here with you. That's just how it's going to be. I can't grow if you're holding me down. And so we need to remove the things that are hindering or derailing us from gaining what we want to gain. And when we do that, we're going to see just how much happier, how much more fuller our hearts, our life feels. We're going to find out what it's like to be closer with the Lord. And it's going to be beautiful. And we're going to see, and we're going to get to live the life that He planned for us and that we saw for ourselves. And we're going to get all the blessings because we did the hard work. We self-isolated if we needed to. And I just think we're going to be better for it if we truly focus on ourselves and stop thinking so much about what everybody else thinks. It's not their life. It's your life. It's your life with God. It's your life with your spouse. Other people's opinions do not matter at the end of the day. It's your opinion. It's your missing piece, your other half, because two become one flesh, and it's the Lord. That's who you need at the end of the day. That's who you should depend on, who you should trust, who you should put your energy and effort into, because those two are going to help make you the best version of yourself. And so we love how something makes us feel, but we hate where it makes us go. And Jesus is going through Samaria at this time. He's going through and he's working on something. Jesus is working on something, whether it be to teach the Jews a lesson, whether it be to speak to this woman and hopefully get her on the right path. And one thing that I took from this is where you are does not mean who you are. What you did does not mean who you will become. And one thing that Stephen said is seeds do not look like what they're going to be. And that's actually very true. They don't look how they're going to be. And we need to always begin with the end in mind. Not saying you want to date someone for a month or two and break up with them. Not saying you want to hook up with them and then go get with someone else. Not saying you want to go here and then, do this. We need to think of the eternal thing. And we need to start something with the mindset of this is where I want this to be in 10 years. This is where I see this in 10 years or 20 years or 50 years from now. And you need to pour into it, build into it, work on it. grow for and from it, change for it. It will not only be so fruitful, it will be another thing that resembles the Lord because he's never given up. And I think it's so good to see it that way. We always need to look at it as, I see this going somewhere, and I know in the bottom of my heart, I did not expect this, but I see potential in this, and I see a happy life. I'm not going to let anyone or anything get in my way. I'm going to pour into this. I'm going to do this with you and with the Lord. And it's going to be beautiful. And you're going to grow, and you're going to learn so many things, and you're going to be so fruitful on the other side. To kind of go off of that, I've had people who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And they invested time and effort into me. And I've never been more grateful because I'm a better person for it. And sadly, I've also pushed people away for the same reason. Because I did not think that I was worthy. I didn't think that I deserved them or their faith in me at the time. And one thing the Lord has taught me is that the one who does not think they're worthy, the one who does not think they deserve something, is actually the one who deserves it the most. And I intend to try as hard as I possibly can every day to deserve. Not only to deserve the love from the Lord, not only to deserve the things that I see for my future, but to deserve my spouse, to deserve my children, to deserve the love of my mother, my father, my sister, my grandmother, everyone. I want to be the best that I possibly can be. And I want to surround myself with people who see faith in me, who believe in me, and they don't let other people or anyone get in their way. And if they do, they knock it off. They cut them out, and they come back and they regroup, they refocus, and we work together and we build an amazing life together. And no matter how many times we wish we could be the person who they believed that we could be, that they saw in us, I'm really sad recently because I am grieving who I thought I would be by now. And I have a question. How many of us wish that we could be the person that they believed we could be? I'm really sad recently because I am grieving someone who I thought I would be by now. I went on a date the other day, and he was a really nice guy, really lovely, such a gentleman. But the whole time I was with him, I was thinking, this is not who I wanted to be here with. This is not where I saw myself. And I got home, and I had to ask the Lord for forgiveness because my mother called me, and she asked me how the date went. And I got very frustrated. I was just feeling a lot of emotions in the moment. And I was actually very sad because it's not who I wanted to be. It's not where I wanted to be. And I yelled at my mother and I told her I did not want to talk to her right now. I was very upset and I hung up the phone. I never hang up the phone on my mom. I always tell her I love her before we hang up. And I got very upset. I was just going through a lot. And it's no excuse. And I never should have done that to my mom. And I had to call her back and apologize. After a few minutes, after I processed what I was going through. But I thought that by now, I would be planning a wedding. Not planning dates. I thought that I was going to be a Mrs. Or this is not where I thought I was going to be. And right now it's really sad because I'm grieving who I thought I was going to be right now. And I wish I could be the person that they had faith in. I wish I could be the person they believed I could be. And I know that I still have a lot more growth to get there. And you might not be looking for it in the moment. You might not be looking, but God sees. they see what you can't. And so I am just so grateful, and I want to be more grateful and be more like the Lord. And I don't want to ever give up. I want to always keep trying. I don't want anyone to ever change my opinion, change my view on something when I know. You always know, and you don't need to let anyone else get in your head or get in your mind. And there's moments where it does happen and they get in, but you need to learn from it. You need to grow, and you need to push through it. And I need to get out of my own head sometimes. Because I thought that I would be somewhere completely different than I am now. And I'm torturing myself. I'm going to keep working to get where I want to go. But I need to take this time and learn and work on myself, because he was a lovely man. My mom did not deserve that. And I shouldn't have, I should not tear myself down because I think that I'm going to be somewhere. But the Lord doesn't think that I'm ready. I watched this one as well. This one is called Small Choices That Keep You Stuck by Life Church. So God wants us to do something. And we'll do some of it or most of it, but not all of it. And you'll say, I'm doing pretty good. There's this one thing. They'll never see it. And I'm a pretty good Christian. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to do it. God will understand. And one thing that I loved that he brought up in this was he said that's Christian-ish. He says this term a lot. Christian-ish. It's the half-hearted faith. It's we wear the label of Christian without truly following Jesus. It's selective obedience. And this is dangerous, that doing some of what God commands is enough when it's really just disobedience in disguise. And these are a few verses that he brought up that goes with it. Deuteronomy 5:33. Obedience, I'm just going to summarize. Obedience to all the Lord has commanded. You'll live and you'll prosper. Exodus chapter 19, verse 5. Obey me fully, keep the covenant, and you'll get a treasured possession. Job chapter 36, verse 11. Listen and obey, and you will be blessed. Full obedience. There's conditions. God will hold blessings when we are not obeying. And this is something that I found really cool, is he put it so perfectly for me to understand. He said there are unconditional promises and there's conditional blessings. God made these covenants because Adam and Eve broke his rules. They broke his commands. They disobeyed him. And so he made a covenant for them. And a covenant, which I found out through this, which was great, is a divine agreement. We're in the new covenant. Unconditional promises. Jesus died and rose again. Forgiveness of sins and eternal life. That's unconditional promise. We are saved by grace through faith. And God blesses us when we obey. You get your blessings when you obey. He does not want our partial obedience. He wants our full surrender. And so God wants to bless us. He wants to bless us. He wants to pour out blessings. And the reason that we might not be getting these blessings is because we're only obeying the things that we want to obey. And he's not going to accept you half trying. He's not going to accept 20% when he gave his life for us. And so you can't do the things that you want and throw out all the things that you don't and expect the same blessings that you deserve or think that you deserve. when you're only putting in half efforts to achieve them. God loves us always. That's his unconditional promise. He loves us always. But he will not bless you if you're not putting in the whole effort. He just won't. Because there's conditions. In 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7 through 9, Saul was supposed to destroy everything. Yet he didn't do all of it. He destroyed the Amalekites, which is what God asked, or so he said. But he took the king alive. He saved the sheep, the cattle, the calves, the lamb, everything he deemed as good. Because Saul heard a whisper. A whisper. Saul heard a whisper. You've done so much already. This has value. Why not? Don't waste something good in front of you. Disobedience always starts with a whisper. Sometimes we try and hold others accountable, yet we fail to hold ourselves accountable. We give advice that we don't take ourselves. We give advice that we don't live by ourselves. I'm going to use this as an example. How are you a grown man and you're telling a younger female, whether it be a sister, a niece, a cousin, a aunt, whatever, just a random girl, how are you going to be a grown man and tell a younger girl, this is the type of man she should look for. This is the way she deserves to be treated. This is the type of man deserving of her. Yet you, the grown man, are going around and you're using women for their bodies. You're doing lustful, sinful things over the phone. You're going and hooking up with random people. You're going and getting with people's spouses, people's mothers. If you're treating women or girls this way, who are you to say how a woman deserves to be treated when you're not treating them the way that you say they deserve to be treated? It's just very hypocritical because the type of man that you're saying she should look for is not who you are yourself. So who are you to speak that way? Who are you to say that? It's as if you're looking for quantity over quality. And that's not any type of person that I want in my life. I look for quality over quantity. People tend to think that if I did it once, I already failed, might as well just keep doing it. We think that because we sinned that we are far from redemption, but it's the complete opposite. You think because you already did some terrible, sinful things, you can't live up to your full potential. So now you just surround yourself with people and things who allow you to stay small. They allow you to keep sinning. They tell you that it's okay. We do this to ourselves. And these are people that don't encourage our growth. They don't call you out on the things that you're doing so that they can keep you at arm's reach. So they can use you. They can use you to better themselves or for things to make themselves feel better or to hurt someone else by just having you in their life. And these people and these things are holding you back from the blessings the Lord has for you. And that's one thing that I had to learn is no matter how much I love this person, they are holding me back. They're keeping me small and in a place I do not want to be. And I hope one day that we've grown and we can come back stronger and better than ever. But there is going to be a lot of forgiveness, a lot of communication, and a lot of talks. And I am willing to do the work, but I don't believe the other people are willing to do the work. And I'm okay. with me and the Lord. And so if that day never comes, I'll still be okay. And because we tend to like the places that we're in, and you like the people, and this is where you're comfortable, I find it crazy that we like this place, we like these people, and this is where we're comfortable. So we'll just stay here. We don't want to grow. We don't want to become better. We want to stay far from the Lord. And God has taught us that He has taught us the most in the uncomfortable moments. We grow and become the men and women the Lord wants us to be in the uncomfortability. So change might seem like you're becoming someone, like you're being forced to be this new person, but it's really you shedding all of those bad habits. It's you shedding all of those bad sins. It's you shedding all of those fake friends who only used you. All of those coworkers who liked being your friend because who you knew, because you were popular, because you did something sometime or something. Stop letting yourself stay comfortable. Stop staying small. When you let yourself grow and stop fighting it, watch the blessings that the Lord is giving you. I have been through a lot, and I've learned so much from it, and I am seeing some of the blessings the Lord has given for me. And I promise you that when God blesses you, you will know it. It will be something you never thought you deserved. And you'll question it, but you'll know that you will never want to lose the blessing. So keep growing and surround yourself with people and things that align with the path that you see for yourself, and watch the Lord bless you. And this is one thing that He said is what you allow in the moment often owns you in the future. You think it's no big deal, and you let it into your life. One act of disobedience, one act of sin turned into 3 or 4. You ended up where you didn't want to go, and you lost people. You lost people, you lost things that you never wanted to lose. You lost the blessing given to you by Lord, all because you listened to people that you liked, that you were used to. You stayed in a place that you felt comfortable, and you fell into sin. And you think that, hey, this person deserves this. So you raise your voice. And now you've lost trust in someone you once had so much trust for, and now neither of you feel safe. You take something that was once so strong, so beautiful, so immutable, and you allow things so small, people so irrelevant to the future that you see, you allow them to destroy it. And then you failed to try and repair it because you now moved back into a place with these people where you felt comfortable. You feel like this is where you're supposed to be. You feel like these are going to be your friends forever. You can just keep living this way and get where you want to get because you don't think that you deserve the blessing that God gave you. You don't think you deserved it. So you let yourself stay small, and you let these people convince you to stay small. And not only did you do that, you hurt the blessing in the process. And what's sad is the people and the places will eventually move on because they got what they wanted. And you'll be in the same place that you've always felt comfortable, wishing you wouldn't have let other things or other people get in your way, wishing you didn't let these outside opinions take over, and wishing that you didn't give up. Not only did you give up on the relationship, you gave up on yourself, you gave up on the Lord, and now you're alone, surrounded by people, yet alone. And I promise that in this moment, this is the most alone you've ever felt. You were surrounded by so many people, yet you feel so alone. And I want you to remember that feeling, because that's how the person that you hurt has felt. Where are you letting sin whisper its way into your life? It's more checking the box for you, trying to fit in, trying to know everyone, present yourself one way as to be more well-known or to be liked, than it is really seeking after the heart and the will of God. If you're going on Snapchat and looking at, the Explore page, watching people's stories, adding random people who seem interesting because you have to stay current, you have to stay up to date with what everyone else is doing, and you compromise, and you've now compromised and looked or got taken to a place you didn't want to go. You're not cheating in normal terms on your spouse, but you're hiding things. You're looking at some things, talking to some people who should not have access to the growing you. These people should not get moments of your time that you could or should put towards growth, towards your spouse, towards your relationship, towards your family, your passions, towards God. These precious moments you're giving to other people. In the moment, they might seem small, might seem like a few seconds here, a few seconds there, but a few seconds add up to a minute. A few more adds up to 2, a few more adds up to 3, 6, 12, 23. And before you know it, you've spent an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours in your whole day just Snapchatting random people that do nothing for you. They're there. These are people you knew when you were at a low point. These are people you knew when you were doing sinful acts. These are people that you knew that still do sinful acts, and you allow these people in your life, yet claim to be growing, working, and changing on yourself. How are you growing and changing when you're in the same place you were when you committed the sin? It makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. How are you growing if you're staying in the place you committed the sin? If you're staying around the people that you committed the sin with, that allow you to commit the sin, that still commit the sin? How? It makes no sense. Sorry that I'm shouting. You're spending money and not talking about it. Someone at work you're enjoying more than you should. It's Christianish. Claiming Jesus, but not fully obeying. You're Christian-ish when you claim to be growing, but staying in the place that allows you to sin. You're Christian-ish when you claim to be growing, and you're staying around people who allow you to sin. You're Christian-ish when you claim to be growing, and you still allow people in your life that hurt someone you once loved. That's Christian-ish. I love and have love for people, but I will stay silent when I know that I'm upset, because in the moment, it's going to make me feel good to go off on this person. But I love this person, and I don't want to make them feel the way that I've felt before. I'm not going to tell my friends or my family to go and do something to this person or say something to this person, because I don't want it done to me. I don't want random people calling me, making fun of me, laughing at me. I just don't want that, and I don't want that for anyone else. So it's Christian-ish to claim to be growing or changed or becoming a better person, a God-fearing man, if you're staying in the places, staying with the people, staying friends with the ones who you sinned with, still sin with, the people who allow you to sin, allow you to stay small, don't call you out on your sin, it's Christian-ish. You have Lord's unconditional love. But that condition, you're not going to get the blessings. Staying Christian-ish. Think about what the Lord would say to you and then confess. Confessing and talking things out is very healing. It might not fix everything back to its original shape, but it will heal a lot of the things that are broken so that they can begin to rebuild the best way that they can. Talk with your family. Talk with your spouse. Talk with the person this is with. Talk to a therapist. You can always talk to God. Just talk about it. Move past it. Figure out how to grow from it. Find the lesson in the pain. There's a guy in here. His name is Samuel, who got into Saul's business and was like, "You're better than this." And Saul doubled down. He doubled down on his disobedience to the Lord. In 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 20 through 21, it's like when we're getting told that what we're doing is wrong, we tend to blame others instead of look at ourselves. Sin never needs a good reason. It just needs a good excuse. I'm going to say that again. Sin never needs a good reason. It just needs a good excuse. And every sin we justify builds a wall between us and God. When he says don't lust, he's saying there is something better if you protect your heart, your mind, and your eyes. There is a blessing of purity in a God-honoring, covenantal marriage that can be yours. So a couple verses is 1 Samuel 15, verse 22, 1 John chapter 5, verses 3 through 4. And the commands of God are not burdening. They're not confining. They're actually liberating. They're very freeing. Don't be conformed to the patterns of the world. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Thanks to the Lord. This book tells us how to live our life. This book tells us how to be great humans, how to be great daughters, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, spouses, mothers. I think I said that. This book tells us everything. The Lord died for our sins. So every time you sin, picture that. We're not perfect, but we want the Holy Spirit to continue to perfect us. And if you're willing to compromise your obedience with God, your distance from God, instead of compromising the things keeping you from the growth or the things keeping you from God, it's really sad. Instead of compromising the things that are keeping you from the Lord, you compromise the Lord to keep the things. And one step of repentance, God will draw near to you. Because unconditional promises that he loves you and he always will is very true. Ask the Lord to show you any area of your life you've been rationalizing or compromising, and confess your sins. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. as much as I can. I'm going to learn to grow. I don't want to be in the uncomfortable moments, but I think it's healthy to be in those uncomfortable moments. And I am learning to not let my feelings guide my day to day. I'm learning to get better about that. And I'm learning to just be more gracious towards people. My feelings are my feelings. My pain is my pain. Your feelings are your feelings. Your pain is your pain. I'm going to be gracious to you. It doesn't matter to me if you're my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend and I see you in pain. I want to be the woman of God. I want to be more like God and comfort you instead of tearing you down in a moment that you're feeling pain. And I want all of us to try and do that. And it's going to be so hard, but I promise you, you're going to feel so much better for it afterwards. And that person is going to remember. They're going to remember that you helped them feel God's presence a little bit more in that moment. Okay. So this is another one that I watched. It's called Fighting Your Focus. It's also with Stephen Furtick. And this is something he said. Are you going to be defined by what stood against you or how you got over it? All right, let's look at Genesis chapter 49, verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. So Joseph, the father called him a vine. But I thought, he was a victim from everything else I'd read. He's a fruitful vine because the things he had to get over and what he's got to give now from those things. So it doesn't matter what the wall is made of. It matters what the vine is made of. You're the vine. So it doesn't matter the things that have happened to you. It doesn't matter the things you had to grow from and get over. It matters what you have to give. You now bear fruit because of these things. So if you have to give over something by drinking, sleeping around, using people for selfish reasons or putting someone else down, instead of taking the time to focus on getting over the wall, getting over what has happened, and doing what you need to do inside of yourself and with the Lord and with the people or the things that you're trying to get over, then when or if you make it to the other side, what will you truly have to give? What will you truly have to give other than what you already had before? Because what did you learn? What did you grow from? What fruit do you bear now? If the ways that you got over the wall or got over what you were getting through is by other people, is by lust, by temptation, by sin, what do you have to bear now? The same rotten fruit you had before. And because you're choosing and actively deciding to focus on what he is doing, not what you've been through, but what you are bringing forth. A grace grew from the grief of that moment. A lesson allowed that growth. Let's always remember, don't stay chained to the way things went down. Don't stay chained to what other people called the situation. You either climb or you die. And I love that he said this. This whole thing was very inspiring and very good for me. If you turn around at the first wall you see, you're never going to grow. You're going to stay stuck. You need to get it out of your system. Tell who you need to tell, and then start working on bettering yourself. Start learning and working on how to grow and get past it. Start learning the lesson the Lord gave you to learn. What are you doing that is for the benefit of others? That's made in God's image. And in Genesis chapter 49, verse 23, it says, "The archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him." You can get lost along the way. You can go to places and do things you didn't want to do, but you can always work your way back. You can always work your way back. Because those trials and tribulations brought you closer to your purpose. And the more that you grew past them, you grew over them, the better you'll be for it. And the more fruit you'll have to bear. And in this, Jacob was attacked with bitterness. But it wasn't his. It was their bitterness. He did not let it in. I repeat, he did not let the bitterness in. They attacked him with their bitterness. And that's the challenge. The challenge is not letting others get in. Don't let others attack you. Don't let their opinions come in. Don't let them try to influence you. You need to deal with it. You need to acknowledge it. But don't let it define you. Let the Lord work it out. In Genesis chapter 49, verse 24, it said, "But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel." Let's think about this. Do you know how hard it is to focus when you have everything firing at you? How hard is it to focus when it feels like the world is against you? When it feels like things are just coming at you and you can't control it. You just don't know how to move. Imagine going to the same place every day where everyone doesn't like you. Imagine going to a place where people don't have your back. They talk about you. They use your pain against you. They laugh or they joke about something that you're going through. Imagine the person that you loved the most, the person that you trusted the most, is not only one of those people, but they join in and they allow those people to hurt you and do those things, knowing that it causes you pain. Imagine how difficult it is to focus in that moment. And as hard as that sounds, don't let it in. I've had to learn this so many times, and I have to remind myself, do not let it bother you. And so if that means you have to stay quiet, if that means you need to keep your head down, if that means that you need to stay to yourself, then that's what you're going to do, because you need to stay focused. You need to stay on your path to get to where you want to be. Don't focus on your momentary feelings. Don't focus on, oh, this is going to make me feel good right now, so I'm going to go off on him. No, stay silent. Walk away. Keep doing what you need to do and focus on yourself. Let everyone else deal with themselves. You focus on yourself and let the Lord deal with it. Because for you and for your growth and for you to learn, for you to become fruitful, you have to go through this. But you don't have to let it affect you. You don't have to let it be all consuming and be who you are. It's not who you are. It's what you've been through. And remember that the Lord is always with you. He's always on your side. In here, He tells us how to do it. And so stay focused. And this is good for school and anything, really. We need to stay focused. We need to stay focused. Don't just live for the moment. Don't just live for the momentary satisfactions. Don't just live for other people. Don't do the things that others want you to do so that you can fit in and be cool. Do what you know is right. Do what the Lord tells us is right. look for your future and work towards your future. Don't work towards the moment. Don't work towards the ones that allow you to stay small. Work towards the ones that help build you up. And that's something I'm going to work on. And I think these were really, really good. I think everyone should go and listen to them. They were very good, very helpful. This one I've been listening to, and I think it goes really good. And we need to focus more on staying connected with the Lord, obeying the Lord. Don't be Christian-ish. And Believe by Brooks and Dunn. This is such a good song. That's going to be my song for this episode. So I'm not going to give 5. I'm going to give 1 because I think that's such a good song for this. And yeah, I think if you want to stay Christian-ish, if you want to claim to be growing, but staying in the places that you sinned, staying with the people that allow you to sin, allow you to stay small, staying with people who tear down things or people that you once loved or claim to have loved, that's Christian-ish. Just because things happened doesn't mean that the love goes away. Just because things happen doesn't mean someone you once loved deserves to be treated a certain way. They don't. And that's why I've learned to stay silent, because I don't want to hurt the person I loved. And I don't want anyone around me to do that. So I just stay to myself and you guys. But don't be Christian-ish. I'm learning to become more. I do not want to be Christian-ish. I want to be Christian. I want to be God-fearing. And I just want to be a better person. And I think this will help. So, yeah. If you enjoyed the episode, comment down below. Comment down any verses that you think would help me or anyone else based off of what we just said. And I hope you all enjoy this episode as much as I did. I enjoyed it very well. So, hope you all have a wonderful night. I'm going to go cuddle with Bodhi and go to sleep. So, have a good night. Thank you for tuning in and listening to me just ramble on. And also, I hope you like my little outfit. I love my outfit. So, have a good night, everyone. Thank you. And God bless.